The trio stood frozen, their eyes locked onto the colossal beast that had just been unleashed before them. Its single hand, massive as a mountain, gave only a glimpse of its true size. The black flame surrounding it, clearly karmic in origin, burned with an intensity far beyond anything they'd encountered before, the baleful aura radiating from it both suffocating and destructive. A primordial force, ancient and mighty, rumbled from the depths of the crater, echoing with the fury of ages long past. "Asura City is in for a storm," Shi Chuankong murmured, grim-faced. "Should we really release this?" Fox 3 asked, his expression one of uncertainty. "Not releasing it means certain death, but perhaps there's a chance if we do," Hanley replied, his voice steady. As the words left his lips, a deafening metallic screech filled the air. A dozen crimson chains, thick as tree trunks, shot from the ground, each engraved with runes and coiled tightly around the creature's giant hand. Despite its struggle, the chains resisted its might, dragging it back into the abyss of the crater. "The seal isn't fully broken," Hanley remarked with a frown. Shi Chuankong darted to the altar, his gaze falling upon a newly revealed flame pattern. "This array is similar to the Devil Race's all-encompassing restrictive array, but with a crucial difference. We've loosened the seal, but we need to infuse fire law powers to complete the task." "Fire law powers?" Fox 3 asked, his voice tinged with irony. "How are we supposed to find that?" Shi Chuankong's face darkened, realizing the gravity of the situation. Hanley's thoughts raced. "Perhaps he can help," he muttered, his mind turning to a new possibility. Just then, a thunderous roar echoed from outside, followed by the cry of Bailey Yan's blaze dragon in agony. Hanley sprang into action, summoning a silver portal, within which Qi-Rong sat, his body shackled by lingering restrictions. "Fellow Taoist Qi, we're all trapped in the Grey Realm. We must work together." Qi-Rong's voice was firm. "What do you need?" "Your fire law powers," Hanley said swiftly. "My strength is limited," Qi-Rong admitted, "but I'll do what I can." Shi Chuankong nodded in reassurance. "Even a small amount will suffice." Without hesitation, Qi-Rong flew to the altar, his body wavering under strain, but he pressed on. As his fire law powers infused the flame patterns, the altar responded, glowing with fiery energy. Suddenly, two figures shot out of the silver portal, darting toward the exit, the infernal children. "Should I capture them, fellow Taoist Li?" Fox 3 asked. "Let them go," Hanley said, shaking his head. "It no longer matters." But as the children fled, a black whirlwind shot from the crater, catching them in its wake. In an instant, their bodies disintegrated, leaving only viscous blood. Hanley felt an odd sensation from their blood, an aura vaguely familiar, but different from his own. Before he could ponder further, the hall quaked violently as the crater erupted in a fiery torrent. "Retreat!" Hanley shouted, swiftly retreating as the flames surged forth, the chains groaning under pressure as the massive hand emerged once more. This time, it was even stronger, shattering the chains and tearing through the ceiling with terrifying ease. The group was swept back by the overwhelming power of the creature's aura, crashing into the walls as the flames surged higher. The black fire was growing ever more potent, spreading cracks through the floor, and the entire hall seemed on the verge of collapse. Outside, Yinghua had released his dark hell, his 8 shadowy arms holding the blaze dragon in place. The dragon was badly wounded, its body a mass of torn flesh and gushing black blood. Nearby, a small figure, encased in black ghost vines, was trapped within a cage of wood, but no one could discern the details. The ground trembled, cracks expanding across the plaza, and the air was thick with the stench of karmic fire. The blaze dragon, now broken and bleeding, muttered weakly, "It's come out!" Yinshu turned to the dragon, fury burning in his eyes. "Those fools!" he roared, and with a single motion, his shadowy arms crushed the blaze dragon's body into pieces, its head crushed underfoot. Yet, as the head shattered, a dark shadow shot out, drawing Yinshu's attention, though he had no time to pursue it. With a final roar, he turned and dashed toward the hall's entrance, intent on facing the inevitable. The earth beneath Yinshu trembled fiercely, splitting wide open as rocks cascaded down, shattering the palace around them. A violent eruption of black karmic flames burst from the cracks, and the ground gave way to reveal an enormous underground chasm. At its center stood a massive stone pillar, while the remnants of Bailey Yan's body tumbled into the abyss. Han Li and his companions shot into the air, swiftly heading for the edge of the darkened space. Yin Shu and Gui Mu exchanged a glance of hopelessness, retreating in haste. Suddenly, a furious roar echoed from below, accompanied by an ancient and terrifying aura. The massive black hand that had pierced the ceiling of the hall reached upward again, pulling with immense power. The black flames in the crater churned violently as a gargantuan figure slowly emerged. Its shape became clearer, a colossal head nearly 20,000 feet in height, black as obsidian, its sharp, jagged features vaguely resembling a human. With every breath, the beast released bursts of black fire from its nostrils, radiating a chilling, oppressive aura that made all present feel as if they were mere ants beneath its gaze. "What have we unleashed?" Shi Chuankong muttered in shock, staring at the giant head. "We've finally awakened the Kunhao, but it seems Bailey has perished," Han Li remarked with a sigh as he surveyed the surroundings. Fox 3, a perceptive, pointed out, "Its body isn't fully free yet. Only its head and one arm are released. The remaining chains coiled around its body, deep within the chasm. This should keep the infernal tribe occupied for a while," Han Li added, "but we didn't fully release it, or we'd be trapped for sure." Fox 3 then asked, "Where's fellow Taoist Qi Rong?" Shi Chuankong responded, shaking his head. Before the ground collapsed, he noticed something in the karmic flames and flew straight into it. Han Li sighed. "Let him be. You two find a way out. I'll rescue Weeping Soul." Just then, the Kunhao threw back its head and roared, sending a storm of flames surging from its mouth. The fire pierced the ceiling, melting it away in an instant, leaving a gaping hole through which a faint light shone down. At the Fallen Lake area, on a radiant stone platform, the regional monarchs of the Grey Realm gathered, their faces tense, each of them silently calculating their next move. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken tension as the decision stage of the conference began. The reincarnation region had invested heavily in swaying the neutral regions, while the infernal region held the most subsidiary territories, but had done little to win over allies. The Black Rope region, ever neutral, played its cards carefully, ensuring it stayed unscathed amidst the chaos. Yin Chengquan, calm as ever, sat at the head of the table, flanked by Huang Fuyu and Xiao Bai. His expression remained composed despite the pressure mounting around them. Behind him, an elderly figure, Tian Ku, whispered urgently, "The situation grows worse. More regions are siding with the reincarnation region." Yin Chengquan, unruffled, reassured him, "Do not worry, regional monarch Tian Ku. There is still time." Tian Ku eyed him with skepticism but remained silent, while Yin Chengquan calmly sipped his tea. Through voice transmission, he quietly instructed, "Proceed with the original plan." The two men behind him, both powerful figures radiating the aura of the great encompassment stage, subtly activated a hidden mechanism, sending a faint glimmer of grey light flashing in the shadows. A figure in the crowd, a black-robed man, noticed the flicker and disappeared into the throngs, fading into the murky depths of the venue. Yin Chengquan did not react, but merely glanced at him, sensing the growing web of intrigue around him. As the conversation shifted, Xiao Bai smiled and commented on Yin Chengquan's unshakable composure. "Impressive, regional monarch Yin. Even now you remain calm." Yin Chengquan responded with equal poise. "You too seem calm, Deputy Regional Monarch Xiao. Your desire for peace is truly admirable." As the two men exchanged pleasantries, Huang Fuyu, seated nearby, observed with a mocking glint in his eyes, but said nothing. Meanwhile, a low chanting echoed from a dark passageway in the Fallen Lake area. The towering grey stone pillars lining the passage glowed with intricate patterns, their carvings pulsating with energy as infernal beings chanted incantations and cast seals. The air grew thick with power as the patterns on the pillars pulsed brighter, and silver light flickered within them, signalling a shift in the surrounding restrictions. The web of magical defences around the area began to change, preparing for something monumental to come. As the time for the decisive stage of the conference drew near, the atmosphere in the hall grew tense. The leaders of the gathering, seated at the head of the table, were the focus of everyone's attention. Suddenly, Xiao Bi's sharp gaze swept across the room, and Huang Fuyu's expression shifted uneasily. "Palace Master Huang, what is the matter?" Worm 3 inquired. Noticing the sudden shift in the air, the tension thickened as the regional monarchs observed their movements. Huang Fuyu stood, his body enveloped in a radiant white glow, and he turned a fierce glare toward Yin Chenquan. "What is the meaning of this? Regional monarch Yin?" he demanded. The monarchs allied with the reincarnation region immediately rose in support, some of them preparing their immortal treasures for combat. Xiao Buai, though seated, cast a cold and accusing look toward Yin Chenquan. The confrontation escalated, yet Yin Chenquan remained unnervingly calm. The monarchs of the infernal region also rose, facing the reincarnation region in opposition. Tianku's voice rang out, sharp and accusing. "Is your reincarnation region planning a rebellion?" Xiao Bai scoffed. "Rebellion? Are you implying the infernal region rules the Grey Realm? What a joke!" Tianku fell silent, realizing his mistake. Unperturbed, Yin Chenquan observed the tension rise and spoke. "What is this commotion? We are here to decide the fate of the Grey Realm, yet we turn against each other now?" His voice was serene. Despite the mounting hostility, Huang Fuyu's glare intensified. "You've activated spatial restrictions around the Fallen Lake area. What is your intent, regional monarch Yin?" As realization dawned, the conference erupted in murmurs, all eyes turning to Yin Chenquan, who still maintained his calm demeanor. He finally spoke, a faint smile on his lips. "This is a precautionary measure to ensure the smooth running of the conference," he explained smoothly, though doubts lingered in the minds of those present. The tension eased slightly, though suspicion remained. Huang Fuyu lowered his glow, signaling his allies to sheath their treasures, and the infernal region followed suit. Xiao Bai's eyes still held suspicion, but he nodded and gestured for Yin Chenquan to continue. "Go and investigate," Yin Chenquan ordered 2 great encompassment cultivators. The pair immediately flew off toward the soul-cleansing area, streaks of black light marking their passage. With the matter seemingly resolved, Yin Chenquan formally resumed the conference, though the air remained thick with unease. Worm 3 leaned toward Huang Fuyu. "Do you believe him, Palace Master Huang?" Huang Fuyu's voice was cold, laced with suspicion. Yin Chenquan may have an ulterior motive, but the explosion was too strange. Something must have gone wrong in the soul-cleansing area. Wu Yang asked, "What should we do?" "We wait," Huang Fuyu replied. "Our regional monarch foresaw this. We are prepared." Elsewhere, in the soul-cleansing area, Yinshu and Gui Mu were horrified by the monstrous figure of the Kunhao, its giant arm and head looming ominously. "Should we capture them and present them to the regional monarch?" Gui Mu suggested, looking toward Han Li and his group, who were fleeing. Yinshu sneered. "This is a disaster. Capturing a few will not save us. The Kunhao must not be freed. We need to contain it until reinforcements arrive." With a fierce expression, Yinshu summoned a black badge, using blood essence to activate it. 9 ghostly heads emerged from the badge, releasing black light that bound the Kunhao. Yet, despite their efforts, the beast's tremendous strength shattered most of the chains, causing Yinshu to stagger, spitting blood. "Gimu, help me!" Yinshu roared. Gimu complied, his own power aiding in the binding, but the Kunhao was relentless, its strength shaking the space itself. Meanwhile, Han Li seized the moment to approach the black vine cage where Weeping Soul was held. The profound heavenly gourd appeared, glowing with bright green light as Han Li chanted incantations, enlarging the gourd and preparing for an escape. Gui Mu, unwilling to let them slip away, summoned 8 massive, spiked mace-like talismans, each radiating dark energy. They shot toward Han Li, but in an instant, his mantra-treasured axis appeared, deflecting the weapons with golden ripples that trembled with the force of their power. The clash threatened to tear the very air apart. The profound heavenly gourd shimmered as Han Li unleashed a barrage of intricate incantations, enveloping the 8 colossal weapons in a radiant green light. A swirling vortex of energy formed, swallowing the black light that had once surrounded the weapons. In an instant, the 8 monstrous implements reverted to black talismans, which were swiftly drawn back into the gourd's depths. Guimu faltered, his expression darkening, but Han Li continued his incantation, causing faint cracks to resonate from the gourd. A burst of translucent black light surged from the gourd's mouth, colliding with the black vine cage in a torrent of power. The cage shattered effortlessly, and Weeping Soul plummeted from the sky, her body riddled with injuries from the ghostly vines, blood staining her form. Han Li appeared by her side in a flash, catching her in his arms before swiftly retreating. All this transpired in the blink of an eye, and by the time Guimu responded, Han Li had already whisked Weeping Soul away. His face twisted with fury and greed as he eyed the profound heavenly gourd. The talismans once held profound heaven-shattering maces, fifth-grade immortal treasures forged by a peak great encompassment cultivator. Even as these treasures neared ruin, they had held formidable power, and Han Li's gourd had neutralized their remaining strength with devastating precision, an artifact beyond Guimu's reckoning. Just then, a deafening roar echoed from the Kunhao, its fiery karmic flames surging from its arm and head, dissolving the chains binding it. Yinshu and Guim reacted immediately, channeling more power into a black badge, causing the 9 ghostly heads to swell and the chains to thicken. But the Kunhao's karmic flames surged once more, snapping the chains and forming a giant black hand that descended upon them with terrifying speed. In a flash, Yinshu conjured a massive black eye, releasing a sword of light that clashed with the hand, halting it momentarily, but only for a second. The black hand resumed its descent, and Yinshu, seizing Guimu, darted aside, narrowly escaping its destructive force. The hand struck the earth, melting a massive crater tens of thousands of feet deep, while Han Li seized the opportunity to flee. In the depths of the crater, Han Li's infernal devilish eyes caught a glimpse of something. "Follow me!" he commanded, and Fox 3 and Shi Chuankong hastened to join him. As they ventured deeper, thunderous rumblings echoed from above. The battle between the Kunhao and the others raged on. Entering the crater's depths, Fox 3 questioned Han Li's choice of direction, wondering about the risk of being trapped. Han Li remained silent, focusing on aiding Weeping Soul's recovery, channeling his immortal spiritual power into her. He also used a streak of azure sword chi to carve into the rock face, revealing a black tunnel. Excited, Shi Chuankong recognized that the tunnel was a part of the underground network beneath Ashura City, likely connecting to another sealed area. "We need to move quickly," Han Li urged, aware of imminent threats. The trio proceeded with haste, Fox 3 and Shi Chuankong sealing the tunnel's entrance to prevent pursuit. The tunnel stretched ahead, eerily silent and dark, with sealing runes etched into the walls. None could sense what lay ahead. As they pressed on, Han Li's eyes gleamed with excitement. He sped up, leading the way to a massive hall. At its center stood a stone gate surrounded by a shimmering silver light barrier. Beyond it, 4 colors of lightning crackled, emanating tremendous power. The golden lightning, bone-rinsing golden lightning, caught Shi Chuankong's eye. Could this be the baleful cleansing pond? He wondered aloud. Han Li turned to Shi Chuankong. "You'll need to break the seal again." Without hesitation, Shi Chuankong summoned the Virata lute, playing a rapid melody that shattered the spatial restrictions with a burst of silver light. As the barrier weakened, he summoned silver sword projections to deal the final blow. The barrier disintegrated under the assault, but Shi Chuankong appeared drained from the effort. As he finished, relief washed over him. But just as he was about to call Han Li and Fox 3, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. Suddenly, the 4-colored lightning barrier on the stone gate trembled with violent force, unleashing a terrifying aura of destruction. 4 thick bolts of lightning, each crackling in a different hue, surged from the array, all aimed directly at Shi Chuankong. The ferocity of the lightning, embodying the wrath of the heavens, caught him off guard, and he hastily tried to retreat. But it was too late. The bolts were already upon him. In that instant, Han Li's profound heavenly gourd materialized before him, its green glow bursting forth. The 4 bolts of lightning, struggling fiercely, were trapped within the gourd's light, their power diminished but still relentless. Han Li appeared beside the gourd, pressing a palm to it, and the bolts of lightning shrank rapidly before being sucked inside, leaving behind only their formidable power, contained in 4 spheres no larger than prayer beads. With satisfaction, Han Li stored the gourd away. "No need for thanks, fellow Taoist Shi. Let's proceed," he said. Shi Chuankong, now unscathed, called out to the others. Fox 3 and Weeping Soul, now visibly stronger, joined the group. Shi Chuankong strummed his lute, releasing streaks of silver light that formed an array on the ground. In the blink of an eye, they vanished into the array, only to emerge in a massive hall. The hall was vast, its walls and floors made of glowing white crystals stretching over vast distances. 4 immense ponds, each a different colour, azure, purple, silver and gold, sat at its centre, their surfaces swirling with violent arcs of lightning. Engraved array patterns crisscrossed the floor, quelling any stray lightning. At the heart of the hall stood a massive wooden cross, upon which a giant white fox, its 9 tails drooping, lay shackled by 4 chains of matching colours, each crackling with energy. The chains, infused with lightning, anchored the fox to the cross and pierced into its dantian. Despite the restraint, the fox exuded an aura of immense power, as though a primordial god had been bound here. With a slow, deliberate motion, the fox opened its eyes, revealing a gaze filled with both surprise and curiosity at the newcomers. "You hail from the true Immortal Realm? How did you come to be here?" Before Hunley could respond, Fox 3, full of excitement, rushed forward. "Patriarch Liu Qi, I, Liu San, 9th generation disciple of the heavenly fox race, pay my respects to you." Kneeling, Fox 3 looked elated, while both Hunley and Shi Chuankong watched, bewildered. The giant fox's expression softened slightly. "I never imagined a member of the heavenly fox race would be in the Grey Realm. How fares our homeland?" Fox 3 bowed respectfully. "The race is well, though we lost much after your sudden disappearance. Our territory has diminished." The giant fox nodded thoughtfully. "And Liu Qing?" At the mention of the heavenly fox race's chief, Fox 3 hesitated before answering. "Liu Qing has severed 2 corpse souls and reached the late great encompassment stage." "Not bad," the giant fox mused, his tone neutral. Meanwhile, Hunley's heart stirred, piecing together the significance of the conversation. This was no ordinary fox, but a Dao ancestor, one of immense power, now imprisoned in the Grey Realm. "What brings you here? How did you enter this place?" the giant fox, now known as Liu Qi, inquired, his gaze sharp. Fox 3 explained, "Our chief, Liu Qing, has been sending people in search of you since your disappearance. I joined the Reincarnation Palace and learned you might be here, so I came." Liu Qi raised an eyebrow, his eyes flickering with a hidden thought. "And how did you enter the restricted area?" Hunley's mind raced. This was where the Infernal Tribe's baleful cleansing ponds lay, the very place they sought. Fox 3 recounted their journey to this point. "Ah!" the 3-region conference, Liu Qi mused. "It does present a rare opportunity, but the city is locked down. Escaping is impossible now." His words made the group tense, especially Hunley and Shi Chuankong, whose attempts to break the spatial restrictions had failed. Fox 3, not deterred, pleaded, "Patriarch Liu Qi, with your power, you could take us out of Asura City. If we free you, we know you can help." Liu Qi's gaze darkened. "Free me?" The lightning entrapment chains were forged by Yin Chengquan himself. "Only by severing them can I regain my power." Fox 3's expression brightened. "I may not be strong, but I have some tricks." With that, Fox 3 stepped forward, summoning a silver longsword gleaming with runes. As the sword appeared, its blade shimmered with a powerful aura, radiating the energy of a 6th-grade immortal treasure. The tension in the air thickened as the battle to free Liu Qi began.